This is Loki Season 2 Episode 3 review, and the episode is titled 1893. This deals with the time jumping, as revealed in the title, 1893. Now, of course, if you saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, the post-credit scenes, you see that we were in that 1800 era with Mobius and Loki. They see a variant of Kang the Conqueror known as Victor Timely. Now, I don't think it was known at the time that his name was Victor Timely, but it's based on the comic books. Kang the Conqueror, one of his variants is called Victor Timely, okay? So in this episode, it opens with a vaudevillian. Let's see if I can spell that. Nah, forget it. But it's a very vaudevillian opening for the Marvel theme. That kind of like high energy kinetic piano. Okay. I thought that was kind of cool. So another indicator, yeah, I mean, they're really throwing it in your face. We're going back to the 1800s. Here, the piano too to prove it. Okay. So we go to 1868 and we see Ravonna Renslayer. And we're going to do a video about Ravonna Renslayer, okay? Because that's a character that's essential to Kang the Conqueror's Marvel Comics history timeline, okay? So we finally see Judge Renslayer. She arrives in 1868 with Miss Minute, the AI of the TVA. Okay? So she gives her simple instructions. She says, put this package into the window of a house. And it's very, I didn't realize it was that primitive. The residency of Chicago. I mean, it almost looked like the train yard in Dick Tracy. I don't know if you saw the movie Dick Tracy. It's like the train yard. It's like these shacks where all these bums live in Dick Tracy. But yeah, so she does as Miss Minutes tells her. Okay, and then they flash forward to 1893. The house belonged to a young, and you can kind of see this coming, a young Victor Timely. And what is in the package? What's in the box? The TVA handbook that Ouroboros, OB, okay, the Asian gentleman that works tirelessly throughout the eons at the TVA, okay, is what he wrote. Because remember, they need He Who Remains DNA in order to bring the temporal loom back into order. And only the DNA of the constructor of the temporal loom can do it. Because remember, Ouroboros was locked out. He said it, I think, last episode. I can't do it. Only the DNA of the person who created it is able to do it. You know, okay. Terrible impersonation. I know. So, this episode is mostly just focused in that 1893 timeline, because by the time, it's 25 years after Judge Renslayer puts the package, what's in the box, okay, through the window of a young Victor Timely. He's at the World's Fair again. This is what we saw in the post-credit scenes of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, which I alluded to. So Loki and Mobius are there tracking Judge Renslayer, okay? And, you know, Victor Timely gives his demonstration as you saw, okay? And he talks about, and he's like a stutter, okay? So he's almost like DJ from The Last Jedi, but not quite. He's very awkward. That's the portrayal of Jonathan Majors' character in this episode. And let me just say this off the bat, because again, when I do these reviews, I don't want to give a retelling of the episode. They made the women stupid in this episode. Why? Why were they written like every major female character in this episode is fueled by emotional distress? I'm not making that up. If you watch this episode, you're like, wait a minute. Judge Ravonna really is just seeking power. Or, I mean, it's like disguised as free will, but she just wants to be in charge. Sylvie shows up, and as soon as she showed up, like, the episode started dipping. It didn't entirely nosedive, but it started to, like, it was kind of doing this a little bit. It was alright. Then it kind of began to taper off. Because they're like chases, you know, when Victor Timely gives his demonstration of this, like, gizmo that he said can power an entire planet, all these investors in the audience wanted to buy the machine from, I almost stuttered like Victor Timely. They wanted to buy the machine from him, so they're saying 500, 600, 700, 850. My final offer, $1,000. Which I don't even think was a lot of money back then, was it? I mean, it was like maybe for a poor area, but anyway, I don't know if the inflation rate of what $1,000 would be today as opposed to what it would be in 1893. I don't know if $1,000 is like $1 million or $10 million. So, again, as I was saying, Victor Timely, he's a scientist in the Chicago area. I don't know if I mentioned Chicago, so I apologize for that. So apparently he's been like selling these patents and these like, he's basically playing Emmett Brown from Back to the Future, basically. So, you know, so people coming up to him saying, hey, this patent doesn't work, this invention didn't, whatever. So like Victor Timely, he's kind of a shyster, but he is a brilliant inventor because of the handbook that he was given as a child, okay? So they're on a Ferris wheel. He's being chased by this big guy. And there's a lot of wasted motion in this episode, I'm sorry. Like, they're trying to track, after Victor Timely's presentation, they're tracking Renslayer and Victor Timely because they want to take him back to the TVA, remember? To repair the temporal loom. Because he has the DNA for it. Even if he probably doesn't know how to work it, I'm pretty sure Ouroboros can probably walk him through it, right? So, again, wasted motion. It's like, where's Renslayer? Like they turn their head and they lose who they're tracking. And then like some big guy that looks like an obese, overweight Abraham Lincoln is like, hey, you stepped on my shoe. And it's just wasted film here. It's wasted. And like Loki and Mobius, they know like the fate of time is there. And they're just standing there like, so. But I'm like, would you get to it? So then like Loki makes him vanish or whatever and nobody cares really. And then, like, he winds up in a cage. Let me on it. It was such a waste of film. I'm sorry. It might sound like I'm nitpicking, but there's just so much wasted motion in this episode. There's so much, like, lack of urgency when, like, people are chasing Victor Timely. They go to, like, his flat. Well, not really a flat. I think he just had, like, an apartment or whatever. And so, Judge Renslayer utilizes Miss Menace to create a distraction. So they go back to his little hideaway. And she's, like, sitting down, talking to him while he's gathering things. I'm like, get to it. You have a time door. Go back to where it was you wanted him to go instead of sitting and talking. And then he says, well, my real lab is in the lake, is across the lake. And then we're on a steamer, like a cruise ship. I'm like, this episode could have been 10 minutes. It could have been 10 minutes. But except for the sitting, the talking, the lack of urgency, I'm like, what are we doing here? So then we're talking, and he has a stutter, so that's just padding the run time. So, I'm like, if I had hair, I would be pulling it out. No, I wouldn't. I would cut the hair. But anyway, I'm like, why are we wasting time here? Why are we wasting time here in a series about the hijinks of time? So then they get on a steamer, then they're talking again. I'm like, this could have been solved with a simple time door. They could have gone right back to the TVA. So then Judge Renslayer mentioned something about a partnership, and obviously Victor Timely doesn't trust partners. As I said earlier, he was like selling a bunch of inventions that didn't work or they didn't understand how they worked. And everybody wanted to be a partner because of his brilliance, you know, in creating these inventions. So he didn't trust having partners. So then the next scene, you see Ravana asleep, Renslayer. Then she's like dropped in a boat off of the steamer. You know, the big steamship. And so Miss Menace basically just wanted to be with Victor Timely because she says, because when he finally gets to his lab, okay, that everybody else knows where it is all of a sudden. No one knew until it was necessary for the plot or the pace of the script of the story. So then Miss Menace, another female character, is like, I just wanted it to be us. Why didn't you ever make me a body? I'm like this. Why are they doing this to the female characters? Making them stupid. And earlier when Sylvie showed up, she wanted to kill Victor Timely again. And then she's making it sound like it's Loki's fault. I'm like, what? So far, Sylvie has been a total waste. I'm sorry, Sylvie is not even necessary to this season so far. No, not necessary. Now she's kind of like a foil, you know, to Loki and the TVA and the overall plan to fix the temporal loom. You want to go there, sure, but there's enough hijinks in this series that Sylvie isn't necessary. Sylvie should only be in one episode, and I'm not sure which episode that should be yet. McDonald's, unnecessary. Last week, unnecessary, because they had Judge Doc's blowing up timelines, but they just minimized for some reason. This episode, when she shows up, I'm like, she's still dumb. Like, is she not aware of everything that's going on after she killed He Who Remains? Like why is she an idiot? Why? And remember, He Who Remains said, you kill me, someone worse is coming. Did she not hear that? Or just in her brain, oh no, he's just lying again. I'm sorry, I'm not ghosting. So again, Miss Minutes said she wanted this is what she said, ladies and gentlemen. Why didn't you ever make me a body so I could be a girlfriend of yours? Is this what we're doing to the female characters? They're all fueled by emotional angst. This is a step back and a step down. It really is. So basically, as I said, the episode should have been 10 minutes long. I don't know what the runtime was. It's probably 40-something minutes. I was interested in it, okay? I'm like stuttering like Victor Tomlin again. It was a little compelling, but the wasted time, this episode gets a C. I'm sorry, a C. Wasted time, wasted motion, fluff, padding the runtime. And it's getting a C because of that. Again, as I said, I don't know what the runtime was because I was really into the episode, but all this sitting and talking, they're in the lab, they're talking. Sylvie's holding a knife, and it's just like, they're trying to build suspense, but you kind of don't care at that point. You're like, why are we here in the first place? They should have been gone. C! It went from, wait, sign language. A plus in Ouroboros to a C! Loki Season 2 is doing this. That's not good. We got dumb female characters for some reason. Why? And Sylvie has this, like, I look at it as like the vortex manipulator from Doctor Who that Captain Jack Harkness uses. Why hasn't she been stripped of that yet? That's not her Loki magic, her power. Why hasn't Loki, like... I'm sure Loki has the ability to, like, do like a sort of like a swap, like a Batman thing, like, oh wait, you stole it from me and I didn't know. I'm sure Loki has that ability. Like why does she still have access to this? She just goes and just pushes people through. Take it from her! Neutralize her! Again, Loki is beginning a downward trend. It's not getting better, folks. To me, it's getting worse. It's getting worse. Again, it's a vaudevillian tone. Okay, I'm gonna try and spell it. V-A-U-D-E-V-I-L-L-I-A-N. Vaudevillian, maybe. Right? Or not, whatever. But C for 1893 bars. Please do better next week, because that's the mid. No. This was the midway point. Oh my God, this was the midpoint of the season. The definition of insanity is repeatedly doing the same thing, expecting a different outcome. Maybe I'm the one that's insane by giving the MCU all these chances. Am I insane? I'm sorry, that's from Moody's Mood of Love. Maybe I'm the one that's crazy. Maybe. Again, let me reiterate it. C for 1893. And it overshadowed the performance by Jonathan Majors. Like, we really wanted to see him, but kind of a stuttering, antisocial doofus. I don't know if Jonathan Majors was wasted, but I know I was kind of like cued in on him, all right, whenever he was on the screen, just to see how he's going to perform as, you know, Victor Timely, He Who Remains, King the Conqueror, the variant, or whatever. But C for 1893.